We got Henri's Heaven Beach. This is a city pop album from the 80s. That's like kind of like pop music with a lot of synth, jazz influences from Japan, specifically, typically when you're talking about city pop. It's kind of music made for like the economic boom they had at the time, very upbeat. Also, oftentimes a lot of like, well, beach kind of vibes to it, a lot of vacation-y sounds, which is kind of what makes it so enjoyable. And this one is no exception with that. Heaven Beach, very fun. I would say, even though this is an album, of a genre from Japan, this feels more like a California kind of thing. It's not only because she talks about California on the album, it just feels more like it's like looking at something like in LA than say Tokyo for where it's drawing inspiration from for the feels. Also, she's shopping in a Safeway on the back, so clearly somewhere in the States. I enjoyed this quite a bit, 7.5 out of 10. All right, next we have another Henri release. Again, same genre. This one is timely. This is probably, if you've seen or heard an album by her, this would be the one. Very big online when the kind of the city pop, I guess you call it, like a resurgence in the States happened. This is one of the flagship albums of the genre. The biggest, selling point I think of this one is the bigger production over Heaven Beach. And you know what? I think it is slightly better. I'm going to give this one an 8, though. Both are great. Check them out. And now for something slightly different, but strangely not as different. We have here, boy, I don't want to butcher this. Tomoko Aran. Okay, that wasn't too bad. Album title here. You can try and decipher that yourself. This one is still lumped in with city pop, though I'd say this is a pretty different. This one is much more just synth. There's like a lot more like new wave to this one. I would say this one is less radio friendly. While it's still got a lot of kind of what makes city pop city pop, as I said, it is much more like new wave. This one's definitely more, this is, I would say, a much more like nighttime kind of vibe to it. The city at night, if you will. Great album. You should definitely check it out. I believe this is a very famous album cover in that the background is all computer generated, which it was one of like the first ever do that, and it was much talked about at the time. I could be totally wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure I have read that before about this specific album. Up, we have the first of